So I'd like to walk you through all the different options in the Commportal Assistant. So we'll go through each one of these one at a time, and I'll try to explain each one of the settings and what they do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the dashboard here. This kind of gives you an overview about your phone and how its settings are. As you can see right now, it says when I receive a call, it's set to ring my phone. Here in a few minutes we'll look at the call manager and look at how we can adjust this setting. For right now we're going to look at our services. We can see that currently this line is in one group, so we'll look at it. So this group can be anything from a hunt group to a call pickup group. As you can see, I'm currently logged into a hunt group called Main Pilot. You can see that I'm currently logged in, and if I'm able to log out, there will be a little link right here that says log out, and then you'll see the icons that are associated with each. You can also see who else is in the hunt group with you. So the next thing we'll look at is we'll look at our call settings. So currently our call settings are set to where we do not want it to auto answer my phone for click to dial calls. What this means is when I select a click to dial call, my phone will ring. I will have to pick it up or go off hook to be able to at that point dial the person I'm wanting to. So if you're wanting this to be automatic, I would recommend putting a check mark in this so that as soon as you do a click to dial call, your phone will automatically answer and dial the person you are looking for. Of course, you can withhold caller ID when making calls if you need to. You can provide caller ID information and caller name for incoming calls on this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this. So the next thing we can look at is we can look at message settings. So in your message settings, you can set how long you want it to ring your phone before it goes to voicemail. The default should be 30 seconds. You can also set up to where once someone leaves you a voicemail, you can have it email it to you. So all you have to do is go in here and type in your email address and hit add. So what will happen is every time you receive a voicemail, you will get an email with an attachment. That attachment will be a WAV file of the actual voicemail that was left. One thing I would recommend is putting a check mark in leave original in inbox, so that way whether you're checking it via email or checking it via the phone, they'll be in both places. Okay. So the next section we have here is the Mailbox Access. You've got a few options in here. You've got skip pin, and what this will do is when you're calling from your phone only, it will not ask you to put in your PIN code. Fast login also removes some additional stuff in the beginning there to where you can get straight into listening to your voicemails. And then you can also set up to autoplay voicemails. Then you've got this option here of voicemail playback, and you've got three different options here. First one is details and messages. Then you've got message only, and then you got details. And what this is your message obviously is the voicemail message that is left, and then details is the date and time that it was left and what phone number it came from. So if you really don't care about any of the date and time or who left it or anything of that nature, you can select message only, so that way it goes straight to the message so you can hear what was left. Next you have the voicemail greeting. Within here you can tell it which greeting to use, whether it's a system with a number, system with a name, or your personal greeting. So if you set up a personal greeting, you can come over here and click record. And if you've got a microphone on your computer, you can record your greeting straight from here instead of doing it via the phone. Or if you have them professionally done, you can actually upload the greeting directly from here. And a few more options here you have where you can use a different greeting when you're on a call as opposed to when you're not on the call. Then you can also use a different greeting for people within your business group, in other words, other people that are within your phone system. Next we'll look at notifications. So once you select notifications, you should see the message waiting indicator. Now this is the light on your phone that lights up when a voicemail message has been left on your phone. By default, this is turned on for all voicemails. If you only want it to show up when someone has marked the voicemail urgent, you can put a check mark here, else it'll do it on all voicemails. Also, you have it where you can set it up to send an email notification when messages are left. Now this is different than it forwarding the voicemail to your email. This is actually just sending you a notification. You also have the ability for it to out dial. In other words, once you receive a voicemail message, it will call a number that you specify here to let you know that there has been a voicemail left, and will actually let you listen to the voicemail as well if you know the PIN code. So if you feel the need to do that, you'll put a check mark in there, put in a phone number. You can also set up a schedule if you'd like, and to only call you during certain times of the day. But you can do it also with urgent and all voicemails, whichever one you need. Alright, so that's all from this section. So let's go back to the dashboard here. So as you can see, we still haven't made any changes whatsoever. So next thing we need to do is look at our messages and calls. From here, if you have a voicemail, you can listen to it from here. You can get the details. You can call the number back. You can forward it as an email. You can do a lot of things with your voicemail within here. Then next you can click on missed, and if you've got any missed calls that you did not pick up, you can see those listed here, along with dialed calls, received calls, and rejected calls. So you can look at anything and everything about your phone in terms of phone calls. If you end up deleting a voicemail on accident, you can come in here and retrieve it, or you can actually permanently delete every single one of them. Now we're going to go back to the dashboard here. Next thing we're going to look at is contacts. So you can create a contact list, or you can actually import a contact list and keep up with your business contacts. You can also create some external contacts, and also you've got an extension list within your own business group where you can come in here and search for someone, and it'll show you what their DID is and their extension. So you can search anything that's within your business group. And then of course, if you have any short codes, which these are basically extensions to external numbers, if your administrator has added any, they will show up in here. So the next thing we're going to look at is the call manager. So on the dashboard here, you'll click go to call manager. As you can see right now, it's set to when I receive a call, just ring my phone. So it's not using any of the call manager features right now. So before we can use any of those features, we need to set some up. So the first thing we need to do is go to rules. Once we click on rules, since there hasn't been any that's been set up, we're going to click to begin, start with an example set of rules. So to understand what a rule is, let's look at some of the examples they give us. The first one here is screen calls. It says, when I receive a call from an anonymous number, ask the caller to say their name before I accept the call. So what happens is when the caller calls in, it's going to say, well, while I'm trying to reach this person, after the tone, say your name. So they will say their name, and your phone will ring, and it'll say, hey, I've got this person for you. Press 1 to accept it, press 2 to send to voicemail. So that way you can kind of screen some of your calls. If you know you're not going to be here, let's say tomorrow, you can set it up to reject calls, where basically all your calls will go to voicemail. And then of course your normal, it just rings your phone like normal. I also like making another one here. I'll show you how to make a rule. So we'll click add new set of rules. When you do, I'm going to call this my busy day rules, because sometimes I might be at my desk and I might not. But if I'm at my desk, I want to be able to take that phone call without it ringing anywhere else first. So right now it says all calls will ring your phone using the standard ringtone. So we want to edit this, and we want it to ring more than one phone at the same time or in a sequence. Alright, we'll hit next, and we want it to ring my phone first, and I want it to ring from 0 to 60 seconds. Then I want it to ring my cell phone, for example. Just keep in mind that if your business group requires a 9 to dial out, you have to add that 9 before. So we'll say 9-815-0000. Alright, and then we're going to say, okay, instead of ringing right at 0 seconds, let's give me about 10 seconds before it tries to start ringing my cell phone. And then because cell phones tend to have voicemail themselves, we want to reduce the amount of time it can ring that. So I'm going to say 30 seconds and hit add. So basically my phone on my desk is going to ring for 10 seconds, and then it's going to start ringing at the same time my cell phone number, and it will continue ringing for a total of 60 seconds before it sends it to, as you can see at the bottom, to my voicemail. Or you can change this to where it can go to another phone number if you like. So in this case, we're just going to leave it at voicemail and hit finish. So now I've got a busy day rule. Okay, so we're going to apply these rules, and then now we need to set up a weekly schedule. So let's click on our schedule. So we have we don't have a schedule at all right now, so we're going to use an example one. And as you can see right now, it has a schedule, shows Monday through Sunday. You'll see that they're color coded. You can see the green is the weekend, you see blue is lunch, and then purple is the working hours. So we're going to go ahead and take this standard here, and we're going to tell the system what we want it to do and apply to which rules to which day. So we'll go ahead and hit apply here. Now let's go back to our summary. So now our summary page has changed just a little bit, where you now have this option to handle depending upon the time of day. So we're going to select that one, scroll down. So what we're going to do is we're going to say on normal days we want to use reject calls during lunch, because I know I'm not going to be there, so I want it to send it straight to my voicemail. Next it says during the weekends. Well, I'm not here on the weekends, so I'm going to select reject calls on that as well. Then it says use normal rules during working hours. Well, yeah, I want it to ring my phone during working hours. So the next thing we've got is use normal rules at all other times. So if it does not fit one of these three that we've set up, it needs to use these rules. So just for example, I'm going to use busy day on this one. And then right here it shows on special days use my normal rules. So special days are anything from holidays to days that you're taking off, and you can set these to where it will do this specific rule all day long for that specific day. So let's say it's going to be a vacation day or holiday, so I'm definitely not going to be here, so I want it to reject my calls. Okay, so once you have selected that, we're going to go up here to the top and hit apply. So now those rules are in effect, and we're going to go ahead and look at these special days. So as you can tell, it shows today is the 31st. So let's say I know I'm going to be off on, let's say, Thursday and Friday. I just click those and then hit apply. Then at that point, those are special days that will run that reject calls rule because it is considered a special day. You can also add public holidays if you want, and those automatically populate those for you. And then of course, if you get to where you're moving around on the calendar a lot, you also have this go to today, so that way you zoom back to where you're at. And that is the call manager. So now let's go back to the dashboard. Alright, and the last thing we need to talk about is how to configure buttons on your phone. So the way you do that is down here at the bottom right, it'll say View Account Settings. You'll select it, and then off to the left you'll see Devices. You will select it, and it'll show all the devices that you have. Most people only have one, So we want to set keys on that device, and it'll open up a web browser for you. Alright, and it should show your phone listed there. In this case it's a Yealink T46G. You just click edit. And then once it loads up here, you'll be able to configure different buttons on your phone. If you end up having a sidecar, you can configure those buttons as well. So to show you how to do that, we'll click on programming the line keys. As you can see, I've got a few configured already. So let's look at this one right here. You'll see that this is an enhanced monitored extension. This enhanced monitor extension, basically what it's doing is every time, in this case Jane Doe, every time she goes off hook or goes on hook or her phone is ringing, the light next to her, next to this button here, will start blinking or show a different color to specify what kind of status she's on. So you can go through there. Of course, you want to do it on your line 1. You can see I've got her extension number. Let's say, for example, you don't remember what her extension number is. You can just type in her name, and you can find it, select it, and it knows what extension it is. And then it's going to ask for a label, whether you want it to be her name or whatever name you want to pick. You also have the ability to configure an enhanced call park so that you can park a line. You basically select, of course, line 1, and then you select which call park orbit. In this case, there should be only one, so there's number 200, and then you label it whatever you like. So there will be some pre-configured buttons on your phone. Some you can change, some you cannot, but these will allow you to go in there and configure all those buttons. And then if you want to configure your sidecar, you'll see down here it says sidecar 1, and you can see where we configure those the same way. You've got 40 keys that you can configure. Now once you get that done, you'll hit save changes down here at the bottom right, and once it does that, you've got two options for getting that button or those changes onto your phone. You can either reboot your phone immediately, and once it comes back up, those changes will take effect, or every night at midnight it checks to make sure if there's any changes. If there is, it'll make them, so you can wait till midnight and that will complete itself. So that is the end of the Commportal Assistant configuration walkthrough. If you have any questions or any problems, feel free to call Ben Lomond's Customer Response Center, and we'll be more than glad to walk you through or help you with any troubles you're having. Thank you.